Hello, my name is Angela Francis. Rather than lead you through a traditional tour of one of our courses, I'd like to share parts of several courses in order to give you a broader sense of what a course at SPS is like. Across our courses, students participate in strong levels of instructor-to-student and student-to-student engagement. As we'll see, students collaborate on a range of applications as they engage content and practice skills in low-stakes and high-stakes assignments. In our science courses, this includes lab assignments, where students explore the subject matter and write lab reports on their findings. Students also create and consume a range of multimedia materials. The courses themselves are media-rich, including audio and captioned video lectures in addition to the readings. And speaking of readings, many of our courses use low-cost or no-cost textbooks. One way that students engage one another is through the discussion board, where students are explicitly directed to respond to their peers' posts and provided with a rubric that outlines exactly how their participation will be evaluated. But beyond this, our courses each provide other opportunities for students to create a classroom community, sometimes in the form of a blog or a wiki. Spanish for Health Professions is a foreign language course developed by Professor Eda Haneo, a full-time professor of languages at BMCC. It uses VoiceThread to foster student discussion. Within VoiceThread, the professor outlines the steps students must complete through a recording and in writing. After consuming the instructional materials for the week, students record themselves as they fulfill the assignment prompt. This video is of two students from fall 2015. The first asks questions from the role of a doctor, and the second answers them from the role of a patient.
Buenos días, señor Hernández. Soy la doctora Sosa. ¿Me podría decir su fecha de nacimiento y de dónde es usted?
Buenos días, doctora Sosa. Mi fecha de nacimiento es febrero 26 de 1983. Yo soy de Brooklyn, Nueva York.
VoiceThread allows students to listen to what they've recorded before posting it and, if necessary, re-record their work. For students who are working to learn a new language, this ability to revise and repeat is, of course, comforting. Now let's discuss lab assignments. Our science courses cover a range of topics, from chemistry or oceanography to astronomy, a course developed with the American Museum of Natural History and designed by a Hayden Planetarium Fellow, Zohar Riss. Each of these courses includes a range of labs meant to explore scientific concepts using hands-on experience, often while working collaboratively. These lab assignments test students' knowledge of the material, and by the end of the semester, students create a full lab report, including a hypothesis, procedure, data, and a discussion of their results and sources of error. In introductory astronomy, students use a free planetarium simulation program called Stellarium to explore our solar system. This allows them to move through space and time, viewing how the stars and planets appear from various places on Earth and in various times of history. Here is a bit of the walkthrough created by Professor Riss, which introduces Stellarium to the students so that you can get a small taste of their experience.
Throughout the semester, we'll be using the lab for many reasons, and one of these things is just to look at the stars, the moon, the celestial objects. We'll be looking at constellations, their names, the borders that they occupy, and even their art. You can look at those things too. Some pretty amazing stuff. Also, with the software, we can zoom in to the planets, for instance, or the moon as an example. I'm going to select the moon, zoom into it, and you can see it get resolved. Zoom out. Let time fly on. We could do this in real time, fast forward, go backwards. It's very flexible. You can set your location anywhere in the world, at any moment in time really, in past history, and just watch as the stars go by.
As you can see, faculty don't rely on text to convey course content. Instead, the courses are media-rich, including audio, video, and static visual images. These range from polished weekly lectures to more on-the-fly resources created by instructors, such as ones that demonstrate the correct way to solve a mathematical equation or how to structure a troublesome sentence. To make sure everyone can access these materials, they are also designed to be accessible, both on a variety of devices and through the inclusion of captions, alt text, or accessible PDF and Word files. One of our philosophy courses, Bioethics, is a great example of how multimedia is integrated into course design here. This course contains lectures by Professor Mike Fitzgerald, a professor of philosophy at Medgar Evers College. They introduce each unit by explaining the overarching topic and outlining key facts and terminology that students will read about as they progress through the materials. He then provides some additional context for the required readings, makes suggestions regarding how students should proceed, and concludes with a question that students will discuss on the discussion board.
The term eugenics conjures up many associations, but none more disturbing than the German effort to produce a master race of blonde, blue-eyed Aryans in the years from 1933 to 1939. Less well known than the history of these atrocities is the dark record of eugenics in the United States, where it flourished from roughly the Progressive Era, beginning in the 1890s, and culminated in the Supreme Court decision known as Buck v. Bell in 1927, which upheld the right of the state of Indiana to force the sterilization of mentally disabled individuals in order to prevent so-called imbeciles from procreating. As you'll discover in the supplemental reading for this module, it's clear that some practitioners of genetic enhancement are focused on building a better human through the selective augmentation of genetic traits linked to desirable capabilities or characteristics such as height, strength, or intelligence, and not just gender or eye color. Our textbook notes that there are legitimate uses for human genetic enhancement, such as eradicating disease or extending human life, even if these might eventually involve lifting the current global ban on inheritable genetic modification, also called germline gene therapy. As always, you'll have an opportunity to discuss both of these arguments in your essay and on the discussion board, along with pondering the question of whether a fetus has a right to not be genetically modified or whether her parents possess the right to engineer her genetic code to have the kind of child they desire.
I hope this tour through several of our courses has given you a better idea of what students can expect at the CUNY School of Professional Studies. If you have any questions, please do feel free to contact me, and thank you for your time.